There are books that entertain, books that inform, and then there are books that feel like a moral intervention. Right Thing, Right Now by Ryan Holiday is unmistakably the latter. It reads like a letter written to the part of you that still believes in decency, a kind of whispered guidance when the world grows loud with shortcuts, corruption, and moral compromise. Holiday, a modern-day steward of Stoicism, doesn't just argue for virtue. He begs us to see that integrity is not a performance, but a practice, one that takes place not in grand gestures but in small, quiet moments. He doesn't pretend the path of virtue is easy. In fact, his thesis is built on the idea that doing the right thing is almost always the harder option. But, and here's the rub, it's always worth it. In a world eager for hacks and hustle, Holiday presents a stubbornly old-school idea. Character is destiny, and the time to live it is right now. Chapter 1. The Unseen Reps of Moral Strength. Holiday opens with a question that cuts deeper the longer you sit with it. What is character, really? Not the kind you post on your resume, not the curated version on your LinkedIn bio, but the stuff beneath the surface, the decisions you make when no one's watching. His answer is disarmingly simple and uncomfortably challenging. Character is a habit. It's not something you claim, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Every time you choose honesty over convenience, restraint over impulse, principle over popularity, you're doing a kind of moral push-up. It won't trend. It won't even always feel good. But over time, it builds something solid inside you. Holiday leans on Marcus Aurelius here, showing how the Stoic emperor didn't just write about virtue, he lived it, often quietly, often thanklessly. In that way, Holiday sets the tone. This isn't a book about how to appear good. It's a book about how to be good, even when it costs you. Chapter 2. Standing Firm in the Moral Storm. We like to believe we'll rise to the occasion when tested, but as Holiday quickly points out, we don't rise to our expectations. We fall to our level of training. This chapter dives deep into the reality of moral crises, the moments when doing the right thing might mean losing your job, your friends, or even your safety. And yet, that's the entire point. Holiday profiles individuals who didn't just talk about ethics, they lived them under pressure. The whistleblower who risked reputation to speak truth to power. The leader who stepped down rather than compromise their values. The parent who stood alone at a school board meeting to defend what they believed was right. None of these people made the easy choice, but they made the right one. And Holiday reminds us, every time we refuse to act out of fear or convenience, we train ourselves to fail the next test. Doing the right thing is not a reaction, it's a habit, sharpened in advance. Chapter 3. Stoicism, Simplified and Alive. For those unfamiliar with Stoicism, the term might conjure up images of ancient, white-bearded philosophers frowning at the sky. Holiday explodes that image with warmth and clarity. Stoicism, he argues, is not about suppressing emotion or living a cold life. It's about clarity, values, and inner stability. The Stoics didn't believe in fame or fortune as ends. They believed in virtue as the only thing fully in our control, and therefore the only thing worth truly chasing. Holiday takes Epictetus, born a slave, and shows how this man possessed more inner freedom than most millionaires. Why? Because he couldn't be bought. His values weren't for sale. Holiday translates this ancient wisdom into our modern-day dilemmas: cheating on taxes, lying in job interviews, ghosting people to avoid hard conversations, and shows how the Stoic answer isn't what's easy, but what's right. The question shifts from what can I get away with to who am I becoming? Chapter 4. True leadership starts within. Leadership, Holiday says, isn't about the number of people who follow you. It's about the moral weight of your example. And here's where the book turns quietly profound. Too often, we equate leadership with charisma, money, or title. But Holiday reframes leadership as a moral act. He brings in Lincoln and his lonely, agonizing decisions during the Civil War. He invokes Eleanor Roosevelt and her relentless sense of duty. These weren't perfect people, but they were led by something deeper than popularity. What makes a leader great, Holiday insists, is the willingness to suffer for what's right, to carry responsibility even when it's invisible, and to make decisions that are good for others, not just good for optics. This, he claims, is the kind of leadership the world is starving for, not loud, not flashy, but deeply, stubbornly principled. Chapter 5. The Price of Doing the Right Thing. By now, you can feel where this is going. Holiday doesn't sugarcoat the cost of integrity. Sometimes, doing the right thing means losing. Losing money. Losing friends. Losing status. He shares story after story of people who said no to power, no to exploitation, no to compromise, and who paid for it. The Olympian who refused to compete under a flag that denied her people. The employee who walked away from a 7-figure job because it required silencing their conscience. These aren't fairy tales. They're hard, sobering stories. But Holiday doesn't tell them to depress you. He tells them to remind you that moral clarity is always expensive and always worth the price. The reward, he writes, is invisible but invaluable. You get to look in the mirror and respect the person staring back. Chapter 6. Choosing the rocky road every time. Comfort is seductive. It's so much easier to bend the rules just once. To laugh at the joke that crosses the line. To keep your head down. But in this chapter, Holiday argues that every shortcut is a betrayal of your values, your growth, and your soul. The right thing. It's rarely the easy thing. That's not just a cliché. It's practically a law of human existence. Holiday walks us through examples that will feel uncomfortably familiar. The bystander who chooses silence, the executive who overlooks harm for quarterly gains, the friend who doesn't speak up when they should. And he offers no moral exemptions. If you know better, do better. There is no asterisk. And the truth is, we do know better. We just have to decide if we're willing to pay the emotional toll for the long road. Chapter 7. Who are you in the quiet? This chapter is like stepping into a confessional. No drama, just raw self-inquiry. Who are you when no one's looking? That's the person who matters, not the version of you that gets praised. The real one. Holiday argues that true character is shaped in silence. How you treat the waiter, how you handle envy, how you speak about others when they're not in the room. These small acts aren't small at all. They're the thread from which your entire moral identity is woven. He doesn't romanticize it. He knows how hard it is to live consistently. But he reminds us that self-respect is the one audience we can never escape. What if our private lives were broadcast? Would we be proud or ashamed? That question alone, Holiday suggests, should shape our next choice. Chapter 8. Write your own moral code. In a world that changes its rules daily, Holiday proposes something radical. Write your own. A personal moral code, not as a branding exercise or aesthetic ideal, but as a living document. What do you stand for? What will you never do, no matter how much they pay you or how sweet the lie? This isn't meant to be rigid dogma. It's meant to give you strength when the pressure hits. Because pressure will hit, and without a clearly defined code, most people fold. Holiday offers examples from ancient Stoics, modern leaders, even frontline workers, people who made their code part of how they move through the world. The idea isn't to be perfect, it's to be prepared. A moral code isn't about ego, it's about humility. It's admitting that in the chaos of life, we need an anchor. Final thoughts. The world needs you to be brave. Holiday closes with both a challenge and a hope. We're not living in morally neutral times. Every day, we're offered the chance to look away, to compromise, to blend in. And yet, he insists with conviction, that's exactly why it matters more than ever to stand firm. Doing the right thing isn't just about personal virtue anymore, it's about cultural repair. When you act with principle, you give others permission to do the same. Integrity creates ripples. Courage is contagious. And decency, when multiplied, can reshape entire systems. It might feel slow, thankless, or even invisible, but it's not. The world sees more than you think. And even if it didn't, you would. And that is enough.